Let's be real for a second. Starting a business can feel like trying to drink from a fire hose. There's just a tidal wave of advice coming at you, and it is so easy to get completely lost. That's why we've done the hard work for you. We've boiled down the core wisdom from some of the absolute sharpest minds in the game. Think Ray Dalio, Alex Hormozi, Squibb, and we've put it all into one distilled masterclass. So let's dive right in.
We've broken this whole thing down into 4 simple acts. First, we're going to lay the foundation. That's the internal work. Then, we'll get strategic and define your battlefield out in the market. Act 3 is all about the action, building your client engine. And finally, we'll wrap up with how to create a system that can actually scale and survive. Think of it as your roadmap, from day one principles all the way to profit.
All right, Act 1, laying your foundation. Before you ever sketch out a product or research a market, the entire game is won or lost right inside your own head. It all starts with your personal principles and really truly understanding your why.
Legendary investor Ray Dalio says this is it. This is the single most important question you can ever ask yourself. And you know what? Most of us just skip right over it. Before you can build anything that lasts, you have to get brutally, radically honest about what you really want. Not what your parents want for you, not what you think you should want, but what you actually want.
See, this is Dalio's genius. He connects your big dreams to cold, hard reality. The formula is so simple, but it's incredibly profound. First, figure out what you want. Second, face the truth about where you are right now. And third, build a smart plan to bridge that gap. This isn't just some fluffy, feel-good idea. It's the absolute bedrock of your entire venture. Building a business on anything less is, well, it's like building a house on sand.
And Dalio doesn't just leave you with a theory, he gives you the machine to make it happen. This 5-step process here, it's a repeatable loop for achieving anything. You set a goal, you inevitably hit a problem. You diagnose the real root cause of that problem, not just the symptom. You design a new plan around that reality, and then you execute. This isn't just a business strategy, it's an engine for constant improvement.
So once you know what you want and you know yourself, you can start to play to your strengths. Entrepreneur Simon Squibb says we've been taught to think about this all wrong. The old advice was, fix your weaknesses. Forget that. The real secret is to go all in, to get obsessed with what you absolutely love doing, your zone of genius, and then find other people to handle the rest. Your superpower isn't being okay at everything, it's being incredible at one thing.
Okay, let's move into Act 2, defining your battlefield. Once that internal foundation is rock solid, now we can look outward. It's time to strategically pick your market and craft an offer that is just impossible for people to ignore.
Alex Hormozi tells this brilliant story that just nails this idea. So there's this kid, right? And his dog has ticks. The grandma says, you gotta feed the dog garlic, that'll get rid of them. But the dog hates garlic, just won't touch it. And the kid is getting super frustrated because he knows the garlic is what the dog needs.
So the grandma tells him the secret. Wrap the garlic in a piece of ham and boom, the dog just gobbles it down. The moral of the story, your market is the dog. You have to give them what they want, the tasty ham, to earn their trust so you can finally give them what they actually need, the garlic. Marketing isn't about yelling at people, it's about meeting them where they are.
So how do you find a market that's actually hungry for your ham? Well, here's a super simple checklist from Coach Gusten Sun to see if you're playing in the right field. Just ask yourself these questions. Is the demand for this thing growing? Are the profit margins high enough to build a real business? Are people already aware they have a problem and are looking for a solution? And so important today, can you actually reach them online? If you can't say yes to these, you're basically choosing to play the game on expert mode from day one.
Okay, once you have your market, you need a killer promise, a unique selling proposition. And look at how powerful this old school example is. Corn's gone in 5 days or money back. It's not vague, it's not fluffy, it is specific, it's time-bound, and it's guaranteed. It takes a painful problem and just completely obliterates it with confidence. So can you say what you do that clearly?
Your entire goal is to find this sweet spot. It's that magic overlap. It's where what customers desperately want intersects with what you are uniquely great at, and, this is key, where your competitors are weak. That is the territory where you can build an absolute fortress.
All right, let's get into Act 3, building your client engine. So you've got your foundation. You've defined your killer offer. Now it's time for the how. The pure, relentless action it takes to get clients in the door and build real momentum.
To give you a sense of the scale of action we're talking about, check this out. Alex Hormozi tells a story about an aspiring marketer who was really proud that he was making 15 new ads a month. Hormozi's response was, "That's cool. At your stage, I was making 35 a week." That number isn't about showing off, it's a reality check. It's meant to completely recalibrate what we think hard work actually looks like. And that insane level of output is all driven by this one powerful belief: volume negates luck. When you create enough stuff, enough ads, enough content, enough sales calls, you stop waiting around hoping for a lucky break. You start manufacturing your own luck. You make so many shots that success becomes a mathematical certainty.
So where do you apply all that volume? Gusten Sun keeps it simple. You need two things. You need a magnet, that's your inbound content, pulling people towards you. And you need a spear, that's your outbound outreach, where you go directly to them. It's not one or the other. To build a reliable client engine, you absolutely need both.
And what if you are starting from absolute zero? Like you have no clients, no proof, nothing. Here's the playbook. First, build a portfolio, even if it's just concept work. Then, find 1 or 2 dream clients and offer to work for them for free. Do an amazing job, crush it for them, and get a killer testimonial. Then, you take that proof and use it to get your first real paying clients. It's a simple rinse and repeat process that just works.
And now, we've arrived at our final act, creating a system. This is the end game. This is about building a business that can run and grow without you having to do everything. It's about building a machine that can scale and survive, even when you're not there turning every single gear.
And this brings us full circle, right back to Ray Dalio. His ultimate goal is to take everything you've learned, all your principles, and embed them into repeatable systems. When he says believability weighted, all he means is giving more weight to the opinions of people who actually have a track record of being right in that area. The goal is to create a system where the best ideas win, automatically, no matter whose ego is attached.
This is the question that every single founder has to face eventually. As your business grows, your greatest strength, your personal drive and vision, can become its single biggest weakness. If every decision, every email, every tiny approval has to go through you, you're not the boss anymore, you're the bottleneck. And a business can never outgrow its bottleneck.
So how do you escape the bottleneck trap? You stop managing people and you start managing the system. And the way you manage a system is with data. This is your dashboard. You have to know your numbers. What does it cost you to acquire a customer, your CAC? And what is that customer worth over their lifetime, their LTV? Are your conversion rates healthy? Are clients happy and sticking around? Because you can't improve what you don't measure.
And all of this leads to the final, and maybe the most important question of all. A job is something that pays you for your time. An asset is something that pays you while you sleep. The entire journey of being a founder, everything we've talked about, is about turning the first thing into the second. So take a hard look at what you're building and ask yourself honestly, are you just creating a really demanding, high-paying job for yourself? Or are you building a true asset that can one day thrive without you? Because the answer to that question will define everything.